Hi and welcome to this video on how to deal with isolation as an entrepreneur. Now, if you have just recently started a business and you likely came from a background where you were in a company or in a team where you had people to talk to on a daily basis, then as a business owner, you're probably starting to feel a little bit isolated, a little bit lonely. Now, also because of the current climate with COVID, it makes sense that we're all feeling a little bit more isolated after, 4 or 5 months of actual lockdown. But here's the thing, as a business owner and as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to deal with this isolation. You need to be able to get over it and you need to be able to move forward. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to actually show you my top 5 tips on how to actually deal with that isolation. And the reason for that is isolation, it's going to really chip away at your resilience. It's going to basically make you work slower and you're not going to get as far as you would have in your business if you can't learn to deal with that. Now, my name is Ray Lavery and I'm the co-founder of How to Start a Business, and to date we have helped over 15,000 people start and grow their own successful business, many of them making up to multiple millions. So with that said, let's move on and have a look at those 5 tips. So tip number 1, this is to go out and to get a mentor. Now there are 2 parts to this. So you first of all need a mentor or a consultant or another business owner or somebody like that that you can talk to so that you can, number 1, do your planning. So this is somebody that you will talk to at least once a month who's going to help keep you on track and get you moving forward. Okay, so that's the first part of having a mentor, and this is how most people use mentorship, and it's very important to have that because one of the things is once you are out of that normal working environment, you're doing things on your own. But if you have some sort of a mentor there or some sort of a consultant who's keeping you on track, then you're going to feel like you have a little bit of a boss or someone that you have to get things done for, and as a result of that you move much further forward rather. And also because they are there to talk to, it makes you feel that you're not actually alone. Now the second part of this is not just the planning, but the most important part of getting a mentor is having someone that you can talk to on a day-to-day basis. And what I mean by that is just to say, hey, something has just gone wrong, or I'm just facing a problem and I don't know how to fix it. What do you think? Okay, so someone that you can call and say, hey, let's just have a 5-minute chat. That is absolutely vital to your survival as a business owner. Okay, you need to have that. You need to have what we would call a sounding board. Now, so many of our clients and so many of our customers use us on that basis where they say, hey, have you got a free 5 minutes? I just want to chat through something, or something is just happening, or I'm just literally having a really tough day and everything is going wrong. Can I just have 5 minutes with you? Yes, you can, because we know how important it is to feel like you're not alone. And just having that person there is going to make a huge difference to you. So go out there and get yourself a mentor, use them to plan, and then number 2, use them so that you can talk to them on a daily basis. Get that done, and I guarantee you that is one of the biggest ways that you will not feel alone, because somebody else is going through this with you. You are a human being. You are designed to be in groups. You are designed to communicate and to talk with other people. And so if you cut yourself off for that, you're going to make your life very difficult, and you're going to stop your ability to be able to think. It's going to make you, your mental strength will go down, and that is not what you want. You want to keep yourself strong and you want to keep yourself moving forward. So find yourself someone that you can talk to, that you can use as a sounding board, that you can just have a quick 2-3 minute conversation with, and that will be enough to give you the energy to be able to move forward. So that's tip number 1, go out there and get yourself a mentor. So tip number 2, this is to outsource the pieces of work that you do not want to do, or that you don't like doing, or are not an expert in. Now, most people kind of go, oh, when I say things like that, because I go, I can't afford to outsource this. But here's the thing, here's what I'll tell you about it, is that if you are trying to struggle to do something that you are not trained to do, it's going to take you 4 or 5 times longer to do it. You're also going to get confused. You're going to find it really, really hard. It's going to slow you down. It's going to make you tired. It's going to make you hate it. And so what that essentially means is that it's putting you on the back foot. You don't have the energy and sort of the vitality that you had, because what you want to do is get on with running your business. You're passionate about your project, you're passionate about your product or your service, and all you want to do is get out and do that. And if you find yourself stuck in the background doing stuff like finances or operations or administration or logistics or whatever the case may be, it's going to drive you mad. Okay, and that also really adds to that feeling of isolation, because you've got so much to do and you're just feeling so alone because you can't really handle all of the stuff that's coming in, and also because you're not an expert in it, you're finding it very difficult to get through. Now, Even if you insist on doing this yourself, the very least that you can do is go out and find somebody who is an expert in that area that you can have that 5-minute chat to. So a bit like what I was talking before, our number one preference would be that you actually outsource it and you give them that job to do. So number one, therefore you are having a conversation and an update with them as to what's actually happening on that side, whether it's your finances or whatever it might be. So that is the number one way. But also if you insist on doing it yourself, then at least you can call these people and have a chat with them, and you are learning as you go along, and also you feel that you have the expertise of somebody there. You have that support, even if it is paid support, which it probably will be. So look, what we would say is just outsource it. I know it's a big decision at the beginning, but if you can outsource it, or at least have somebody there to answer your questions, you will feel a lot less alone, and also you will have more time to get on with the things that you are really good at. So tip number 2, to not feel isolated, is to actually outsource the jobs that you don't want to do, because outsourcing it will make your life a lot easier. So tip number 3, this is to go out and to join a support group. Now this is different to the mentor side of things. A mentor is a one-to-one conversation, and any way you play it tends to be a little bit more formal. What I'm talking about here is actually meeting other people who are business owners. One of the most common complaints that people starting a business say is that they feel that they are on their own. Now this was the case long before COVID hit, okay? Long before that, this was the number one complaint from people, that they felt isolated. But most of the time they were isolating themselves. Now I know it's a little bit more difficult now because we're all sort of working from home, and there aren't really sort of face-to-face networkings and stuff like that before, but you can still get out there and there are still events on. So what I'm saying here is look into your local Chamber of Commerce, look into meetups, look into Facebook groups, look into sort of local organizations, and get in front of your council or whatever government organization, and because they will all have support for people who are starting a business, and you want to start to talk to other business owners. And when you're talking to those other business owners, be honest with them, okay? There's a thing that happens, and we've seen this countless times in networking, where you ask people how they're getting on. They're like, oh, they're great, they're doing super well, and everything's going really well. And they don't actually tell you the truth, where in reality, they're really struggling. They're finding their marketing hard. They're finding their finances hard. They're finding their cash flow hard. Just getting up in the morning, they're finding it hard. And so the thing is to remember that you are a human being. You might give yourself a title of business owner or director or CEO or founder or whatever you want. That doesn't stop you from being a human being, and a human being has basic needs, and that basic need is to talk with other people. And if you can talk to other people who are business owners, who are not there to help you with your business problems, but are just there to go, oh my God, I feel the same way, that is absolutely huge. If you can just circulate with those people, look around that room or look around that Zoom meeting and see other people who are in the same boat as you, you're going to be able to have private conversation with them, strike up a friendship, and you can find people to actually work together with. Okay, so it could turn out to be a joint venture, but even if it's just, hey, calling each other and going, hey, how was your day? What happened? Is everything okay? That is absolutely critical. And look, do make sure that you make time for this, because like I said before, that is how humans are designed. They're designed to basically interact. And so take advantage of these support groups. 99% of them are actually free. It's not going to cost you anything to do them, but the difference it will make to your mental strength, the difference it will make to your ability to think ahead and to also feel not alone is absolutely huge. So it's different to having a mentor. It's about having a group of people that you can talk to and be honest with them, because I guarantee you, once you are honest with them, they will be honest with you as well, and you will see that they are also struggling. And that in itself is a lot of help when you're building your business, to know that you are not the only one going through it. So when you hear it from other people, you're more likely to understand that it is not just real for you, but it's real for them as well. So that's tip number 3, go out and get a support network and a support group. So tip number 5, this is to plan your day meticulously. Now, this is a big skill for a business owner, and it helps with a lot of things, not just the isolation, but it'll also help with the isolation. What we find is that when people don't have deadlines and they don't have meetings and stuff like that, things tend to not get done, or they tend to get distracted by doing things that are not important in the business. Not that they're not important, but they're just not critical to the success of the business. And so what we say is that it's so important that you actually plan your day meticulously. There are lots of balls in the air. You got to do your your marketing, your business development, your customer services. Maybe you got to do your product development. Maybe you've got production. Maybe you've got logistics. You certainly have finances. You know, there's a bunch of different things that you have to do, and there's a lot to do in your day. And so it's very important that you set out your day so that you have something that you are doing in each part of the day, and it is scripted in, a bit like how you would do it if you were at school. You'd have a timetable as when you're going to do science or English or maths or whatever the case may be. So running your business the same way is going to make your life a lot better. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we want you to be meticulous with this planning. Number one, when you are doing this and you are focused on what you need to do, you are not feeling lonely because you are getting on with stuff. And I would give yourself a little bit less time than you feel that you need, so that you are not quite rushing, but you're moving at pace to keep up with that productivity. Okay, so make sure that you do that so that you can literally get things done and you keep all the balls rolling. But also, when you're working like this, then you don't have time to feel lonely. You don't have time to get distracted by Facebook. You don't have time to start contemplating how you're feeling all alone and how it's all really hard and all of this kind of stuff. So be very meticulous, be very, not quite determined, but be very strict with yourself in order to set out your day and then tick off those items in your day as you're going through it. So I literally mean timetable your day. Okay, now moving on from there, which is tip number 5, I'm going to put the two together because this is about scheduling your work time and your fun time. Okay, now it might sound like it's the same thing as like tip number 4, but it's actually not. It's completely different. When you are setting up your business, there are reasons why you are doing it. There are things that you want. There are things you want to achieve. There's an amount of money that you want to make. There's like, I don't know, some sort of a goal that you want to achieve. There's a particular reason why you're doing it. And that is fine. And you need to make sure that you stay straight on that. But again, remember that the whole reason for setting up your own business is to have freedom. It's to have control over what it is that you're doing. And one of the things that we see a lot of people doing, particularly at the early stages, is they are working all the time. They think that they have to work 16, 18 hours a day. They think that they have to work on the weekends. They think that, you know, they can't watch their favorite TV show, or they can't go out with their friends, or they can't spend time with their family, or even walk the dog, or whatever the case may be. And you have to make sure that you schedule that in. So when you are at work, you are at work. And when you are not at work, you are not at work. And it's so important because, number one, if you are not at work, then you are not thinking about work. You need time to recuperate, okay? You are a human being. You are going to get tired. You're going to run out of energy, and you need to replenish your energy levels. And the best way to do that is actually not to think about work when you are not at work. And if you make sure that you schedule time to actually have fun and to see your friends and to see your family and spend time with your partner and all of this kind of stuff, then you will not be thinking about work. So engage with your family when you're with them, engage with your hobbies when you are doing them, and make sure that you are not thinking about work. If you attempt to work 16, 17 hours a day, you will become exhausted. And also, you are not seeing your friends, you are not seeing your family, you are not having fun. And that only increases the amount of loneliness and isolation that you actually feel. So it's so important that you separate your home and your work and your fun life, and that you schedule time for it, and you go and you do it. And when you are not at work, you are not thinking about work, okay? You are simply living your life. And it's so important that you go out and you live your life. Even if we're in a lockdown, you can still chat with your mates. I mean, I've had more contact with more people since lockdown began, because we're all doing these Zoom calls and we all have our beers and our glasses of wine or whatever. And it has really connected me with a lot more people. I feel a lot less alone because we have made such a big effort to stay in touch with people. And that is the same for you. Do not get stuck in this 16, 18-hour workday. Do not be working all the days that God sends. Don't be working on the weekends and all this kind of stuff. And if you do, that's fine, but schedule other times of the week when you are off. You need a break. You need to separate yourself from that. And by doing it this way, you will feel a lot less isolated. Okay, so it's so important that you do that. So there you are. Those are my top 5 tips on how to stop feeling isolated when you're starting your business or when you are an entrepreneur. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, which is somewhere around there. And we do lots of videos pretty much every week. We put a new video out. And also, for those of you who want to learn more, we have a free webinar that you can take where we show you the top vital steps that you need to take in order to start your business and to grow your business. We also show you the top 3 secrets that you need to know in order to make a very successful business. And we'll even show you the business model, the exact business model that we used that brought us from making zero to making thousands every single day. So look, if you look in the description below, you'll see a link for that video. Like I said, please do hit the subscribe button, and look, also comment, feel free to share. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And so there you have it. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon. So take care, cheers, and goodbye.